Malo alele, everybody. My name is Dr. Lynley Tulloch, and I'm your lecturer on this course, ED 304, Families and Communities in Early Childhood. I wanted to do a video because I feel that there is not as much communication between us as I would like there to be in guiding you through this course so that you can get the best out of it and experience success. I have taken Moodle courses in the past when I was lecturing at the University of Waikato for 11 years. And I do find that while online courses provide lots of opportunities for freedom to work within your own space and to become independent learners, there is also the drawback of perhaps not having that face-to-face contact where you're able to connect with the lecturer and discuss any of your concerns, develop a relationship with that lecturer along the lines of being free to communicate any confusions, questions that you have, and many people find it easier to do that in a face-to-face environment as opposed to online. So I'm hoping that this video might possibly be successful in you meeting me face to face, albeit through video, and for us to begin having a discussion. I have contacted the IT people in an attempt to find out how I can set up some online tutorial sessions with you as well. Now, first things I did want to discuss was your participation on the online forums. For some of you this is going well and for others less so. And I would like you to make a real effort as this course progresses to participate if you haven't been a little bit more regularly. The course participation is essential because it's through this kind of dialogue with other students and with your lecturer that you can develop ideas in further depth. And we know that all learners, and no matter what age we are, learn better when we're in an environment where there are other people to discuss ideas with. And in fact, it's essential to develop our knowledge, understanding, skill sets further, especially in the field of early childhood education, which is principally about people and developing those good communication strategies and partnerships. So I would really encourage you, please, to go online and participate. It doesn't matter if you aren't sure of what you're writing. The point is to actually start a discussion and clear up any ideas or to any insights that you have to share with other people, and to build this community of learners together so that we can develop our knowledge together. It's called collaborative learning, it's called co-constructive learning. There's a lot of names for it, but as I said, on that level, it's important for your education that you participate more, and it's also important for your assessment, which is 20% of this course is your online participation. It's not too late yet, but please do be more mindful of your participation. Now, this week is just a short week. It's just a 1 week to talk about health and well-being, and so if you haven't come on board yet, please do that. You are required to contribute at least twice, and also we're still looking for those paragraphs at the end of each discussion where you summarise what you've done. Many people are doing better actually at the journal reflections than they are at the at discussing with other people. So and also don't forget, I do feel sorry for the people that are participating and then the other members of the group are just absent. This isn't fair on people that are participating, because their grades are reliant on you coming on board and actually contributing. They need you there. So be a good colleague and friend and classmate, please, and let's all support each other through this process. Now, the other thing I wanted to discuss with you was assignment 2, because I think this is generating a little bit of confusion, and we may well need to give you all an extension of a week because it seems that a lot of people are on the back foot in terms of having conducted the or getting started on the research and indeed even been in a centre. So I'm not sure entirely how many people are in a centre or not. I have attempted to communicate to people via messages and with limited success at times. Please reply to my messages when I send them. It's important for me to know. I keep a record of your participation, and I keep and if I don't hear back from you, it just means that I have to keep sending messages and have to keep worrying about how you're doing. It would be a great help to me if you would reply. So I would like you to reply, and also I need to know exactly where you're all at this current moment with your research and if there is any confusion. Several people have sent me some questions needing clarification, and I'm not at all surprised about that. It's a very complex assignment with a lot of parts to it. So let's just go through that assignment now. I've got it here on the other side of my computer, so you might see me looking in that direction. It's assignment 2, and the type is a research-based professional development workshop. And in brackets it has their students conduct research, facilitate a workshop, write a report, and produce a video. So you have got at least 4 components there. Now this assessment is worth 20%. It links to learning intentions, so learning outcomes, course learning outcomes 3, 5 and 7. So let's just go back now to 3, 5 and 7 and see what those learning outcomes are. I'm just pulling those up here. Okay, so the learning outcomes for this course 3, 5 and 7. 3. Apply child development theories to inform and strengthen collaborative partnerships with families and communities. That means you're using your professional knowledge as an early childhood educator about how children learn, grow and develop to strengthen the collaborative partnerships with families and communities. So this is where your professional development with families and the centre comes in. Number 5, evaluate policies that enables partnership and shared thinking in children's learning environment. Well, that refers to you, when you do your research, is to have a look at the centre policies that are in place at the centre and to evaluate them. When I say evaluate them, you have to analyse them. In this context, you're analysing them in relation to the Sustainable Development Goals. So you need to have a look at the Sustainable Development Goals and see whether those policies are in line with that. And also the other thing that you need to evaluate with is whether or not they are good for forming partnerships and with families and shared thinking between children and educators, between children and parents and the centre. Between all people who are involved in early childhood education, we need to be having good conversations about the policies in place, and so this your evaluation of the policies is to do with evaluating them in line with, do they align with the Sustainable Development Goals, and do they facilitate collaboration and shared thinking with the people in the child's learning environment. And number 7, engage in research that involves the participation of families and communities in a chosen socio-cultural context. Now, the socio-cultural context they're referring to there is the preschool, hopefully, that you're already in. If you're not, I need to support you in getting into a centre. You can ask me for a letter and I will write that. The other thing is to go to the Student Support Services and also get a letter which shows that you're enrolled in this course as well, so that it's all official when you approach a kindergarten and ask if you can spend 20 days there working with the teachers and the children and supporting the staff and analysing the policies and then doing some a presentation. Okay, so that's how this assignment links to the course learning outcomes. Now, let's just go back to the assignment for a moment. If you can pull the assignment up yourselves and look at it while I'm talking to you through this video, that would be awesome. Okay, assignment 2. So, we've been through course learning outcomes 3, 5 and 7. We know that this assignment is worth 20%. You must be in a centre for 20 days to support staff in their teaching. If you're already in a centre, that's great. If you're not in a centre, you need to find one very fast. Students will carry out a 20 days research embedded practice. Now that sounds quite complex and scary. In fact, what research embedded practice refers to is research that you conduct while you're a practitioner. So in this case, while you're an early childhood education practitioner, you are also conducting research on something that in your work environment, such as in this case, it looks like you're looking at the policies in the centre. And to support the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, we'll go through those in a minute, and how to teach sustainability to young children. That's a really big area, but basically what we're talking about here is that you're looking at the policies in the centre, analysing how they do or do not support the SDGs, what you can do to improve them or even create some that would support the SDGs, and indeed how this supports children in learning sustainability. Okay, within these 20 days you must try to do a project that supports the above. Then do a professional development to the teachers / parents of the SDGs. So you will have to talk to the teachers about setting up a professional development, even a teacher-parent evening or a staff meeting or something like that, where you actually discuss your research with the teachers and or the parents and what you found out and what you're proposing to do in terms of policy, or what you'd like to see happen in terms of policy. Okay, so just pick an area and research thoroughly for this presentation. Assignment requirement 1, choose a centre and be there for 20 days. You need to make sure you're doing that first. Have an attendance sheet, and this has to be signed off by the head teacher. So I'd like to see an attendance sheet signed by all of you, please. Discuss with the head teacher their centre policies. Have they got centre policies? If there are none, then you come up with 4 key areas that you think is a need for policy to be developed. We'll have a think about those policy areas in just a moment and how they link to the SDGs. Identify these 4 policy areas, for example, the REST policy, the partnership policy, health and safety policy, food policy, and others which you think of, but in this task you will need to develop only 4 policies which you think is important to have in an ECE centre. And that's where your instructions for that end. So what I want to see evidence of at the end of this is a report on your research, and that can be between 1200 and 1500 words, a video where you discuss what you did, and also evidence that you facilitated a workshop with parents and teachers. You can do this through getting the head teacher to sign that you did it. If you want, you can get someone to video you doing the presentation, which would be helpful. And you can tag on to the end of that video some discussion about what you did. But that is what I'm looking for in this instance. If you can get someone to video you doing your workshop without videoing any of the children and other staff members and parents in there, because we don't want photographs of people that haven't given permission, especially young children. It's very important that we don't do that. So again, when we're talking about research embedded practice, just be careful with this, that you are not doing research on actual people, but rather looking at the centre policies, okay? Because to do research on people, you would need to go through ethical approval. And in this instance, you haven't got ethical approval to conduct research on people. So it's just about the policies in relation to sustainable development. Okay, so we've seen some of those areas. For example, we have seen rest policy. We've seen that maybe you can do something with the rest policy, partnership policy, health and safety policy, food policy. How do these link to the Sustainable Development Goals? I'm going to put up an item or a graphic of the Sustainable Development Goals, but just a little bit of background on the Sustainable Development Goals. In 2015, the United Nations General Assembly adopted the Resolution 71, Transforming Our World, the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And this agenda is a plan of action for people, planet and prosperity. It seeks to strengthen universal peace and simultaneously secure a sustainable future for our people and the planet. Now, just a few words about sustainable development and what it actually is. Sustainable development is an overarching term which refers to the need to balance the environment or ecology with the social, cultural aspects of society and the economic functions of society. So we know, for instance, that sometimes our economic development means that the environment may be harmed and is not in balance, and so the economy and the environment is often not in balance. And when that happens, the communities often suffer, which means that the model isn't balanced and it's not developing sustainably. For example, we know that current economic development is causing global warming, and global warming is affecting small island nations, and in particular the Pacific area, and is causing destruction to plantations. When we have cyclones coming through, it's causing disruption to ocean ecosystems and threatening people's livelihoods and food security. So these are the kind of things that the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals are concerned with. They want to ensure that economic development doesn't impinge on people and the environment in such a way that limits both our current prosperity and our future prosperity. Think of it like a three-legged stool, if you like. You know, all three legs need to be on the ground for it to balance. And so, how does this link to early childhood? Let's have a look. We'll just go down to the goals. So we know that education is very important for sustainable development. We know that people need to should have access to quality education, and that this will foster sustainable development. This is the plan. Goal 1, there's 17 goals of this, and these are the Sustainable Development Goals, which are set out to aid the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. These include Goal 1, end poverty in all its forms everywhere. Goal 2, end hunger, achieve food security and improve nutrition and promote sustainable agriculture. Goal 3, ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Now that's a goal that actually links really well to many of the policies at the centre. So your health and well-being policy, your food policy, your rest policy, all of those things are really important. Goal 4, ensure inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. So you could also seek to introduce or to strengthen a policy that will foster inclusivity and equity, or improve the quality of the education in the centre and make it more accessible. So if you think in the centre that there could be some places to maybe ensure that all people are included in a more equitable way, maybe you could look at their policy, their outreach policy or their community engagement policy. Are they ensuring that the people have access to the services in the community for their children? Are you fostering partnerships that will enable that? When we're being inclusive, it means that we be inclusive of all cultures in the centre. Are the policies there to support that drive for inclusivity? That's important. So have a think about that one. So that's goal 3 and goal 4, which link very well to this assignment. Let's have a look what another one is. We've got affordable energy for all. We've got a gender equality, availability and sustainable management of water. Take urgent action to combat climate change and its impacts. It's a bit hard for young children to become involved in that, but you can have a centre run in a way that supports reduction of use of fossil fuels and energy outputs, and in this way model to young children the necessary actions to take to live sustainably on the earth. Conserve and sustainably use the ocean, seas and marine resources for sustainable development. And goal 15 is about terrestrial ecosystems, managing forests, combating desertification. So any nature-based education which teaches children about the earth around us and engages them in nature, that is really important. Goal 16 is a good one. Promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development, provide access to justice for all, and build accountable and inclusive institutions at all levels. And when we talk about institutions, we're also talking about education. So strengthening the partnerships between families and centres. The centre shouldn't be something that the parents drop the children off as a babysitting service while they go to work and come back and pick the child up. It should be a really vital and integral part of the community where the parents are welcomed, open door policy, that you draw on community knowledge, the children's knowledge, the children's cultures, and that these are made visible and within the centre. There are many ways in which you can do this to make the centre a welcoming and inclusive environment for everybody. Have a look at the policies and see whether they have got some kind of what's the word for it, provision for this, if you like. Okay, so those are the Sustainable Development Goals, and those are some ways in which you can link those. Now, I will put the Sustainable Development Goals up for you on our course, and I'm hoping that if you have any questions about them, that you will ask me or go into the current module that we're in, which is about health and well-being, which links, as we have seen, very nicely to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. And the other thing I wanted to mention to you was that I've done a quiz, and it's to fill in the missing words. A lot of that links to the readings that you're currently doing on health and well-being. So it's just a bit of a fun way to test how well you've assimilated the knowledge and become familiar with the vocabulary. It's not assessed. I'm just wanting to find ways to engage you more in this course. Hopefully this video will be one of them. Hopefully you'll feel more comfortable communicating with me, and I'm sorry that I'm not on campus, but I know Barbara is, and I know in the Fiji campus at least, and I know some of you have got access to her and going to the tutorials, and I am in contact with the IT people trying to find a way to do the Zoom tutorials, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, I am going to sign off now. I'll use Māori language to sign off because I'm from New Zealand originally. Māori people are the Indigenous peoples of New Zealand. I'm now living in Tonga, and I'm really enjoying my time here. So please, I hope you feel more comfortable with me now, and I will look forward to hearing more from you. Ka kite ana.